Hey everybody, welcome back to Milsurp Moment by Hank's Think Tank and Studio 13. I'm your host, Mark Hogan, and today we're going to be checking out the M1 Carbine. That's right, carbine. Anybody saying carbine will be cordoned off in a special section and ridiculed mercilessly, okay? So it's a carbine. The suggestions and response I got on the M1 Garand was overwhelming, and we really appreciate it. So we're going to continue doing these. I got a lot more goodies coming up. The some of the suggestions were get more into the function of the rifle, the safeties, and the mag releases and that kind of thing, how it works, and also have some close-ups of that kind of thing and of the weapon itself. Cards and letters were amazing. And you think I'm joking? I've got a letter right here. It's addressed to me, no return address. So let's just check it out and see what's in there. And if there's anything untoward, we can always bleep that out, cut this out of the deal. I'm dying to see what's going on with this. A letter. Dear Mark, I really like the new Milsurp Moment show. Very informative, and you look nice. I'm sure it will become a very popular show. Even if you fall flat on your face, we still love you. I'll be making cornbread on Friday, so come on over if you can. Love, Mom. Alright, so we will be getting into some close-ups of the weapon and how it works and that kind of thing. So thank you for all that, and welcome back to the war room for the M1 Carbine. And remember, please, there's no fighting in the war room. Alright, so in the mid-30s, the U.S. Ordnance Department saw a need for a light, handy weapon in the rear areas of the war theater, if you will. The support troops being quartermaster, warehouse guys, truck drivers, deliveries of all sorts, messengers, officers in the rear areas of the theater of conflict. They wanted something light and handy that had a relatively smaller bullet, but was more powerful than their pistol of the 1911, and it could reach out and really touch somebody if they had to. Another thing that exposed the need for this handy little weapon was the tactics of the German military with their blitzkrieg operations, where they would parachute a lot of infantry in the back lines to disrupt and destroy. So they saw the need for something that was more effective than a 1911 pistol. They did have the Thompson submachine gun, but weighing in at 10 pounds empty, and it was just a little too much. The M1 Garand was too cumbersome. In fact, I read where in World War II, 80% of the military was supporting combat. So there was a lot of people back there, and the M1 Carbine really fit the bill. So what about the carbine? It shoots a 30 carbine round. This is your 30 carbine round. It's not very big. Generally weighs in at the bullet weight being 110 grains. To give you a little comparison, I'll show it down here. You have the 30 carbine here, and your M2 ball, which is your 30-06, right next to it. Quite a big difference in powder and bullet weight and effectiveness. But the M1 Carbine was not ever meant to compete with the M1 Garand. It filled a niche, and it did it really well, and generally the troops really liked this weapon. So in November 1941, Winchester won the contract to begin producing the M1 Carbine. And a month later, we had Pearl Harbor, and things got real serious in a real big hurry. So besides the two manufacturers that were going to make this, Inland, a division of General Motors, and Winchester itself, 8 more companies were added to the contract to produce the components to make the M1 Carbine, including Underwood, which this is an Underwood, Saginaw Steering Gear, another automotive type company, Irwin Peterson, National Postal Meter, Quality Hardware, Standard Products, and Rockola. Rockola made jukeboxes. But any company that was geared up for a high capacity production of machine goods had a shot at a U.S. contract. If you can find a Rockola M1 Carbine, you're going to love it because there aren't very many of them. It's rather rare, and you're going to be asked to pay a whole lot of money if you want to own it. There were other developments of the M1 Carbine, including in 1944, they had created an M2, which was select fire, semi-automatic or automatic, and so the M2 brought with it the design of the 30-round magazine, which held 30 rounds. Imagine that. And it was very well regarded. I've used this mag in this particular carbine, and it works fine. Don't have a problem with it. There were other developments too, like the bayonet lug, which I think was 1944. This is late 1944. And then after they were refitted after World War II, virtually all of these were refurbished and fitted out with the latest goodies, like the bayonet lug. And I've got a bayonet here, and I believe I got this one off of eBay. It's an original M4. This one made by the Case company. It's got the stacked leather. I love it. It fits on there just fine. I'm glad I'm not under fire. Snaps right in. You're good to go in case things get up close and personal. So that's fun. Comes right off like it's supposed to. So let's take a little closer look at how this little weapon works. I'll throw this 15-round mag back in. Snaps right in there, and we'll do a little close-up action here. So there's your 15-round magazine. That's what they all came with at first before they came out with the M2. Push button release. Here's a flip safety. The flip safety is safe and fire. When these were originally made, they had a push button safety. Well, there was a lot of reports that guys in the heat of the moment would confuse the two, drop their mag by accident when they're trying to just put it off safe. It was a cross bolt push button safety. So they retrofitted that really quick to the flip safety to eliminate that little problem. Also, when they were first issued, they had a sight. The rear sight was an L-shaped 150 or 300 meter yard sight. They eventually came up with a better idea and had the adjustable rear sight, adjustable for windage and elevation. So that was good. When they put these sights on, and virtually all of them had that, if you can find one with a flip, you got something special. It covered up the manufacturer's name. But I could see a U here and a D there. I know it's Underwood. The barrel itself is Underwood on this particular weapon, and it does have a 50 stamped on there. See that 50? Generally, those are agreed to be rack numbers, so we'll go with that. They want you to put them back where they belong. This went in slot number 50. They could tell what was there, what was missing, that kind of thing. The rotating bolt, very effective, and the very famous short stroke gas piston inside there. So it's pretty basic, easy to work on, easy to clean, and so that's pretty much it. All right. Have you heard of Carbine Williams? Well, I bet you have. And if you haven't, I'm going to tell you about him. David Marshall Williams was born in North Carolina in 1900. And he was quite a character from what I could tell. He was a mechanical genius. But he didn't really want to follow the rules. when he was 15, he joined the Navy. It didn't take him long to figure out he was only 15. They threw him out of there. At 17, he enrolled in the Blackstone Military Academy in North Carolina, and he was doing fine until he got busted stealing weapons and ammo from the armory. So out he went. He was fired from the railroad shortly after that. In 1921, he really upped his game, and he actually got 30 years in prison for second-degree murder of a police officer. The police were raiding his still operation. This is during Prohibition. And he was making moonshine. The shots rang out. He ended up getting 30 years. He's in North Carolina prison doing 30 years and still designing and drawing and making his gun parts. Mainly, I think it was all gun parts. He couldn't get a patent because the patent office would not award any patents to anybody who's actually doing time. Eventually, his sentence was commuted in 1929. Word got out that he was very good at what he did. His designs were very popular. In 1929, his sentence was commuted, and he actually went on to do work for Colt and Remington and received several patents along the way. In 1938, he went to work for Winchester, and they actually incorporated his short stroke gas piston, which allowed this M1 carbine to operate as well as it does. So that is all about Carbine Williams. And he was apparently quite a character, pretty well known, I would say, because in 1952 they made a movie of his life called Carbine Williams, and it starred Jimmy Stewart. Now, I haven't seen it. I've heard that it's pretty Hollywooded up and not real accurate, but I still would like to see it. I bet it'd be fun to watch. So there's the story of Carbine Williams. Let me show you a little bit about the accoutrements. The sling, the pouch. This mag pouch holds 2 of the 15-round magazines. It was originally designed to go on the web belt for the U.S. service guys, and it got real popular real fast to put it on the stock. Very handy. Holds those mags right there where you need them if you need them. And the sling, it's your basic canvas sling. Got the little push dots connectors, adjustable. This is all repro. I think I got this from At the Front. It's brand new. They make this stuff. Very cool. Made to specs. It's all the same material and everything that the U.S. Army used. This mag pouch is actually dated 1943, so that's fun. And there's an oiler, a little oiler can. Can you see that down there? A little oiler can where the sling goes around it, holds that in. It's always handy right there. That's a pretty cool design, I thought. So that's pretty much it for the M1 carbine. It served World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. It was very popular. And did I mention the M3? Besides the M2, there was an M3. They came out with an M3 in 1945, a little late for World War II, but it was very popular in Korea. The M3 was the select fire M2, but it had an infrared night scope on it, and it was quite a huge contraption. Things weren't real small back then with that technology, but it worked really well. It was redesigned a few times, but it worked really well in Korea, and got a lot of praise for its action there. The M1 carbine did get a little bit of bad feedback on a couple of different things. In the jungles of Vietnam, there was some talk about a little lack of stopping power. I don't know, I haven't read the data on that, but I've heard that. And also, especially in Korea, it was really cold a lot of times in Korea, and sub-zero temperatures would affect the operation of the M1 carbine, probably from the lube freezing, I would imagine. But all in all, it was very well received, very well liked. Even guys on the front lines like to carry these things. And so that's about all I know about the M1 carbine. I'm not an expert. I'm just a collector and an enthusiast, and I enjoy shooting them and talking about them and showing them off to my friends. And thank you, friends, for being here. We're going to go into the range, blast a few caps, and it was a lot of fun. So check that out. I want to thank everybody for joining us again today. I got a real special one coming up for you, and I'm not going to tell you what it is yet. So let's go shooting. Thanks again for joining us. Like and subscribe and all that. Thank you.